My mother has been taking my disability checks for a long time. I finally secured my independence.
Oh, you got it. Once you secure that independence, don't let it go.
Your mama is a sack of dookie. So, for context, hi, I'm Kruger, or as of late, Delta Kruger. Need to get that fixed. I am the 27 year-old lad of this story. I am considered a high-functioning autistic individual, officially disabled by government standards. By the way, this comes from Kerr Grimpaw, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to OK Storytime subreddit. So my mother for a long time, but especially these past few years, has been taking in and managing my checks from the government to keep the household afloat. That is important context. Making use of everything, but hundreds of dollars of it, which often got absorbed in moments of crisis, as well as me not spending it much. While I was doing so, sowing seeds of doubt and fear into my mind about ever learning how to live on my own, stating I was very far from ever reaching that. I myself didn't really try to struggle or push my way out. Even when I turned 18, she offered to sign me up as a dependent, but I thankfully declined. I decided for the good of the family to keep working with them. That changed about 4 years ago. 4 years ago, my developmentally held back brain decided to say, oh, now it's time to teenager. I suddenly craved independence, looking every which way for a way to flee gracefully. Every time, though, there was some unfortunate situation or action that meant that if I left with my two incomes, my mother became my primary social worker or primary support worker, which has its own irony later on. The family would fall apart and I'd be dooming all of the animals, some of which were never listed on our lease at the time and were hidden every inspection. Now, what happens when you cage a teenager that so desperately wants to do their own thing? Well, they get rebellious, according to OP. 3 years ago, I got a therapist through my state insurance program, and after venting all of the hoops my mom was making me jump through and all of the work that was piled onto me due to my mother's bum knee and the stupid high expectations of me that would always end up creating screaming matches to her over these past 3 years, she finally said to me, as of roughly a week ago from this post, that literally sounds like an abuse case.
I mean, definitely. Sounds like it could be financial abuse or
Yeah.
even like an emotion. Like, I don't know. It feels like maybe this person, has autism or ADHD, like they said at the beginning, and it's like they might be being looked at as like, well, you don't need this money. It's like we're going to take care of you anyway. It's like we're going to use your money for the people who need it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, okay, wait, you're just going to take away my agency as a human being?
OP is clearly saying like, hey, I want this independence and it is OP's money. It seems that OP is, in my opinion, doing mom the massive favor and everyone else the massive favor, because also mom admitted your checks are like keeping us and the animals and everything else afloat. I initially dismissed that and said, I'll keep it in my mind on the comment of it's maybe abuse. As we ended that call that day, only to then immediately after get chewed out for jumping on a request my mom made earlier in the day. She had requested research for something that made another lengthy story, but regardless, she basically chewed me out for hounding her in an ill mental state due to her current situation, despite telling me 5 minutes prior to do the research for her. That's when I went back to my room and texted my therapist and started filling out the paperwork. So 1 day later, mom and I get into another spat, this time about the dishes, which were my daily chore. Sure, it was assigned to me, but my drive to do craft for her was gone at that point when my effort could be pushed down on a whim, even though it was ordered. Argument is hazy in my head for many a reason, but the main one is mom went feral the moment I snarked like a teen would. She slammed her way into my room to start grabbing crap and hucking it on the lawn, screaming at me to get out, breaking one of my monitors in the process.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this escalated quickly. Dad stepped in and told her that since I was over 18 and on the lease, that I was legally given 30 days notice, which is when she stopped, turned to me and says, well, then I'm going to make those next 30 days torture for you.
Don't know if it's legal for your, technically, what? Are they both on the lease, or is she like the landlord? Like, what?
So she was trying to kick him out, but it's like, no. We literally legally have to give him 30 days.
Right, so he's a tenant and then she's the landlord. So then it's like, I believe it's extremely illegal for the landlord to go, oh, well, I'm going to torture you for 30 days. Pretty sure you can't do that.
Take mom to court?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, we take mom to court?
If she's taking my money, she can use that to pay for the fees.
Dad let me get the few things that she did get back on the lawn, back inside at that point, and I sat down in my chair. Then it dawned on me. She played herself. 4 years. She said that if I went away, she would have to get rid of everything. And I mean everything. It was all propped up by my Social Security income. I believe that's what that is. And the income that she got being my personal social worker. So now those were the two. It was she's like his like personal social worker and his Social Security. So those two, OP leaves.
It does seem like a weird ploy to be like, I'm kicking out the thing giving me all of my money. It's you, OP.
But now I feel like we're just dealing with. I think we're seeing more and more how just straight up cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs the mom is. Like, she will get so emotionally distraught, dysregulated, she'll kick out the only like income keeping her afloat. Now she's given me and the government valid reason with her behavior alone that even if she rescinded the 30-day notice, that we couldn't keep our home anyway. It was refreshing. In that moment, I felt like I felt the courage well up in my chest. She couldn't manipulate me anymore. She fell into what she had made of her life and was blind to my connections that I made for years outside of the family, constantly slamming them for being liberals.
Getting slammed. Oh, get dunked on, liberals.
I took that renewed energy to reach out to those friends, those found families, my lovers, and even my grandparents. I looked through my cards and emails and found my disability care workers info and told them of the situation and burnt the midnight oil chasing my new life while my mom literally pounded the adjacent wall between my bedroom and her bathroom, screaming like a banshee about not hearing me back fast enough. God.
What is that? If you're packing so vigorously you can be heard in the next room, I think you just need to calm down, honestly. I don't think that's a good indicator on if you're
folded. Stop it.
You're like, John, are you okay? It sounds like the wind is blowing in there. I don't know.
So to keep from going on for ages, I'm going to be brief on the next few stages to now. Grandparents saw the explosion brewing for years, opened arms, and let me take my belongings and my bearded dragon, Pancake, in while my mother was on psychiatric care. Wow. Sounds needed. With my caseworker's help, I got my Social Security disability income under control. I got guidance on what steps to take next, and they're doing research for intermediary places after grandparents. Me and my boyfriend are looking into joining together and living somewhere in Washington with my found family chipping in as well.
There we go. I love the found family.
Dude, also OP, I love how OP's mom is like, you couldn't live on your own, blah, blah, blah. And here OP is like literally just like crushing it.
Yeah,
just
straight up.
Crushing it. Wow. As of today, I'm officially disowned from my own family. Yes, let's go. My mother has not only disowned my grandparents, but also forced Dad to as well. I tried to contact them to drop me off, to drop off the phone plan so I could keep my number, and all I got was a statement of disownment, and that further contact will lead to a restraining order.
Dang, man, I'm sorry that your family like low-key hated you forever.
That's crazy. So I got special state related order to have their firearms reclaimed since my mother is a psychopath, court ordered, and have my grandparents locking their doors now out of fear. Oh, I'm waiting for my case manager to get back to me to have my documents extracted from their residence. And basically, all I got to do is play the waiting game. Watch my parents burn because my mom pushed all their connections away. Even my brother, who is stoic as heck, showed he was ready to fly too. So the main thing to take away from this, learn to value yourself and judge the words of those closest to you, for you never know if you're just a pay pig to your own mother. If people want, I can refine those breezed over parts, but this is enough to get the picture. P.S. As I was printing the paperwork to file for the firearm removal, I realized I still had access to the printer back home. It took all of my willpower not to print an FU message to it, and instead I just disconnected my PC from the web accessible printer. Smart move. Despite blaming me for everything falling apart, she was the one who got me out, and I was taught to not have the last word. By the way, you can always have the last word, because there's full episodes of stories just like this, and all the words your ears could possibly hear in a lifetime. By searching OK Storytime on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, go there. We have full episodes. So many. But Dakota, we are reaching the end of
anyone listens to this story and is like, that sounds spookily familiar to my situation, but I don't think I'm being taken advantage of. Run. You are being taken advantage of.
Bingo.
You know, if people are going to exploit you with like little to no care or regard for your own feelings or experiences or well-being, then hey, you have to support them, even if they're related.
Yes.
That is all I have to say about that.
Getting into that up. Long story short, the paperwork I filed, I just turned in. I got a court time in about 2 hours. I have zero court experience whatsoever, so I'm going in by the seat of my pants. If it goes well, though, my grandparents and I can sleep a little safer knowing that if they get retaliatory, they'll have to do it with sticks and stones and a not 100% pure American, if you catch my drift. That's how we should censor that word moving forward.
Pure American freedom?
Pure American freedom. Grade A. Pow, pow. Keeping it brief because got a video planned. Extreme risk protection order dismissed. Judge said I was polite and concise, but officially there was not enough evidence. Oh no. High bar of standard for that petition. I'm getting in talks with Grandpa to see if his lawyer can rephrase all of this better to the court. So it unfortunately looks like the family is crazy mom is still strapped. Crazy mom is still strapped. The court has not said you can't be, and Granny,
what they need.
Granny might get some pure American freedom. So let's get into these comments. So comment number 1 says, I have a mental disability too. My mom wouldn't be caught dead doing this to me. I have my own job and make my own money. To which Opie replied, yeah, that's something I have to learn. I don't even know how much I get from the government because I got served a threat of restraining order before I could even get my paperwork. The one thing I forgot leaving the place. So Opie literally doesn't even know how much he's getting through the check. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Again, if that sounds like you, you are being taken advantage of.
So now I gotta wait a month to figure out my worth and then funnel that into finding a place out in Washington near my boyfriend and then transfer my services to a new state. And yeah, you get my point. Might have done a lot so far, but I still have much to go. Commenter number 2 says, glad you are looking to the future and making plans. Your mom is too much. You can say that again. And would have kept you at home forever if she could. I mean, most people have to pay their maids, but your mom got a clean house and 2 paychecks from you. Yeah, because OP was doing a bunch of chores.
That is true.
Forgot about that. So glad you're out of there. Best wishes to you. To which OP replies, I mean, for heaven's sakes, she had this 5-year plan that involved keeping me and my brother around long enough for us to land a home on the range, stick me in grandma's cottage, and retire to my brother's home to live with him for the last of their days. Yo, she plotted out, she plotted out the mooching, like just strategic mooching for the rest of her life. I can't even.
I mean, is there a universe where if that plan is just out in the open with OP, that OP's totally down? If you're not just exploiting OP?
Yes. As long as it's not, like, if all parties are down, why not? They saw my brother as the retirement plan and me as necessary baggage to keep my brother from seeing the manipulation.
Gross.
Wow.
Disgusting.
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 Disgusting.